This video was brought to you by Surfshark VPN. I love browsing the web, but most times the web does not love me. The amount of surveillance, limitation, and data mining that can happen on a daily basis is frankly depressing, and there's a lot of it too. It can hit you in the face like a good old haymaker. But with Surfshark VPN, you do have an easy one-for-all solution. On Windows, Android, or Apple products, whatever burns a hole in your wallet faster. With a click of a button, Surfshark turns you into an anonymous and hard-to-track user, giving you more freedom on the internet, keeping you away from prying eyes, and prevents companies from doing things like geo-blocking, where video and streaming services limit your library simply because of where you live. Surfshark makes all of that a non-issue. You start up their service, you choose a location, refresh the page, and there you go, your favorite show that you couldn't watch because you dared to live somewhere else. The audacity of this viewer. Ooh boy. And those that use the link in the description below and enter the special code Johnny will not only get 83% off their initial order, but the next 3 months are also completely free. Once more, thanks to Surfshark VPN for the sponsor. Now let's continue on with the show. So this will be our last Sonic video before we head into other things, and today we're all about the spin-offs. Between major releases, these were often how Sonic and company felt at the time, and as you'll find out through this video, results may heavily vary. I decided to throw a whole bunch of these games together today for this video, because for some of these, it's probably for the best. I was looking back at some of the older SGB reviews, and wow, I forgot how short some of them were. The original Spinball video was just over 3 minutes long. I'd never make a versus video that short nowadays unless it's sponsored and only an hour long. A man's gotta pay the bills after all. We got a lot to tackle today, and I'm trying to cover my bases here, but even after this video, there's still gonna be a handful of Sonic games I haven't covered yet. And whatever those are, they can wait till next time. I don't feel very compelled to talk about Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car today, you feel me? No, we're starting with Sonic Spinball, of course. So hey, remember how I said that after Sonic 2, the SEGA Technical Institute was split into a Japanese and American team, the Japanese team getting to work on Sonic 3? Well, guess what the American team got to work on? Yeah, Sonic Spinball, released in 1993 as a holdover for the holiday season while the Japanese team worked feverishly to satisfy McDonald's investors. And that would certainly explain why this is one of the only games to make reference to the American television shows. Yeah, both Sat AM and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog get some recognition here. The freedom fighters escaping from the animal prisons in the bonus games, and you got a whole barrage of scratches surrounding this capsule later in this game. This sort of immediately gives Spinball a unique visual identity, and maybe because it was developed by Americans that Spinball has more of an attitude than the previous games. The banner up top is no stranger to using a lot of hip 90s vernacular, praising or scolding Sonic depending on the player's actions. Enemy design is a little more deranged, to say nothing of the boss fights at the end of every level. Dr. Robotnik always had an ego, but these robots are borderline Lovecraftian in their surreal nature and sound design. I've had friends growing up with this game that were put off by the first boss simply because of the noise it made when you hit him. Plus, you got that sinister boss music accompanying these contraptions to add to that extra layer of creepiness on top of that. Spinball's soundtrack is great overall though. Howard Drossen did wonderful here. The options music is terrible, it's just straight up awful, and I'm not too big on the Showdown, the final stage, but Toxic Caves, Lava Powerhouse, and oh, especially the Machine. These are top tier. The percussion is enough to make me a fan. I love me some good percussion. It made playing this game a little more bearable, because otherwise Spinball is not something I tend to revisit. Given Sonic's history with pinball physics, a dedicated pinball game was just the logical thing to do. I'm not a pinball guy though, it was never my thing. But to Spinball's credit, it's not one-to-one pinball. You do have some influence over Sonic's actions, so you can slightly steer Sonic to get a better position for the next flipper launch. The game is still all kinds of jank though regarding control and collision detection. Shit, sometimes I find myself clipping through geometry altogether. Yeah, I guess that's a shortcut. You're bouncing all over the place, running into all manners of obstacles. Most things just obstruct progression. Nothing can really hurt Sonic here in the traditional sense. The rings you collect are just for points and a special bonus game if you manage to collect them all on the stage. But there are several instant kill hazards like toxic ooze or liquid hot magma that'll put an end to your ball bouncing earlier than you want it. Besides that, you're playing pinball, collecting every Chaos Emerald in the stage to reach the boss. They're all blue in this game though, that's weird, and there's a lot more than 7 here. I think there's 16 overall. And you know what, I always liked how they looked in Spinball. They're almost candy-like, so pristine, something I really want to go out and grab. Still, Spinball just isn't for me, so there isn't much else for me to say other than the Showdown could eat my asshole raw. The game is pretty comfortable until you get here, then it's just dick kick city with how much shit can end your life or waste your time. If you're gonna play Spinball, play the Genesis version and avoid the Game Gear version. Just for the sake of this video, I actually went and gave the handheld version a whirl thanks to the Sonic Gems collection, and I didn't even make 30 minutes. I couldn't get past the first stage. I had no fucking clue where to go after collecting the first 2 emeralds given the limited level design and repetitious structure. I like how levels have a title card in this version, that's cool, and the intro kinda fucks me up. Sonic and Tails fly to Robotnik's fortress to put a stop to his plans, right? That's true for both versions. But in the Game Gear version, I guess the tornado was out for repairs because I don't know what the hell Tails is flying here, a jet turbine? And poor Sonic, he's just holding on to dear life there because there's no room for him to stand on anything. You can show a little more concern for your friend's predicament there, buddy. But no, this version sucks, but it isn't the last time Sonic would have a pinball game for a portable device. There was also Sonic Pinball Party for the Game Boy Advance, which fun fact I completely forgot was even a thing until I finished recording footage of Spinball. I'm doing the basic Google browsing for research for this eventual video, and I'm like, alright, there was a pinball game for the GBA, wasn't there? Well, unlike Spinball, this is a more traditional pinball game, it just has a Sonic theme to it. As well as Knights and Samba de Amigo, I guess needed something to do with them in the meantime. If you didn't like how Spinball handled, this might be more up your alley, as in it really is just regular pinball with Sonic themes. Again, not for me. I saved a lot of balls though, that's what the game said anyway, it was like I was a doctor checking for unusual lumps. But that's enough pinball for me, let's move on to the next game. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, another game referencing Sonic's Western media, this one being strictly Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. There was also supposed to be a dedicated SatAM game for the Genesis as well, I guess to balance the scales, but this never got past its initial pitch after Sonic Team showed little interest after viewing the initial demo. Not that creator Peter M seemed to care because after it got turned down, he got to work on Comics Zone, a project he was very much excited for. Anyway, Mean Bean Machine. It's Puyo Puyo with an Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog skin. That's it. Got some good sprite work and some of the best portraits in Sonic like the Climax and Robot and Scratch's Booty Warrior face. But I don't like Puyo Puyo, I am absolute garbage at Puyo Puyo, so I will not waste any more of your time. The only time I ever had any degree of fun with Puyo Puyo was the Switch game, the Puyo Puyo Tetris hybrid, that was fine. I acknowledge that this game exists because I know some of you ask. It is definitely a Puyo Puyo game with Sonic themes. There are just some games where I don't feel like spending a whole bunch of time and effort on because I know from the get-go I'm not going to enjoy myself. Mean Bean Machine for me is one of those, and its handheld counterpart in the Game Gear, which I also acknowledge as a thing, but that's more than enough for me. So, what do you guys know about Sonic Xtreme? There is quite a story behind this game's development. It was supposed to be Sonic's next big endeavor after Sonic 3, and something that would lead the charge for the upcoming Sega Saturn. That never happened, of course, and if you want a great video that goes into the whole spiel, I can't recommend Matt McMuscle's What Happened video on this subject. Go watch that and consider subscribing to his channel. Yours truly even made a special guest appearance in the Sonic Chronicles video. But the basic gist is, while Sonic Xtreme was in its hellish development cycle, SEGA wanted another Sonic game for the 1996 holiday season. But because Sonic Team and the Sega Technical Institute was up to their chins in a whole bunch of shit, this next project was outsourced to Traveler's Tales. That game was Sonic 3D Blast, released for both the Genesis and Sega Saturn, a game immediately identifiable by its pseudo 3D look because if you weren't making a 3D game for a dedicated 3D console at this time, this is how you did things. It worked for Super Mario RPG, Donkey Kong Country, hell even Traveler's Tales already had their feet wet with the style, as they also worked in the video game adaptation of the 1995 Toy Story. Dr. Robotnik is interested in taking over Flicky Island and using the native Flickies to power his robots to find the elusive Chaos Emeralds. Sonic arrives in Flicky Island, and I don't know why, I just love this shot of him staring at these robots. It's like Sonic is also questioning the sudden shift in art style. It's a standard classic Sonic plot, but as you can see, this ain't a classic Sonic game. The main gist of Sonic 3D Blast is controlling Sonic through this isometric view across several different zones and a shitload of checkerboard patterns. Your goal is rescuing all the Flickies trapped inside these robots, then you head inside the giant ring to clear the stage and watch Sonic get abducted by aliens. The spirit of 3D Blast is like a traditional Sonic experience and you're doing the traditional Sonic things. You're running, you're jumping, and you got the spin dash, which in this game has a whole button dedicated to it, a couple of years before Sonic Adventure even. Power-ups are also of the familiar variety, everything you'd expect from the earlier games, though the only elemental show returning is the Fire Show, which doesn't come with the Fire Dash anymore. It just protects you from fire hazards, a godsend for Volcano Valley, so it still has purpose even if it is a little more situational this go around. But 3D Blast does contain this nifty homing shield though, the best of the bunch. It has basic protection and it gives Sonic, for the first time ever I believe, the homing attack. Just tap the jump button twice and you close in on the nearest enemy for easy killing. It's great, because destroying enemies otherwise is an imprecise chore. The isometric view makes jumping on robots more trouble than it's worth. I'm using the roll attack more than anything, and it gets the job done just fine, but it's not very graceful and leaves me feeling like a slippery mess at times. Especially with enemies like the snowman, this ain't your friendly frosty kitties, this motherfucker's packing heat. Jumping is for the most part relegated to platforming. In 3D Blast, that just means jumping over a whole bunch of ledges with the occasional steps that you sometimes face through for no reason, or floating platforms that you can easily bypass with a well-timed spin dash jump. The level design is pretty lacking across the board. More often the biggest change is the level theme and not so much what you do in the stage. Not to say every zone doesn't have their gimmicks, but most aren't utilized for basic progression. They're mainly used to hide away a few extra goodies or special stages accessed in this game by grabbing 50 rings and locating either Tails or Knuckles. You don't get to play as them here though, this is strictly a Sonic-only experience. And seeing how uninterested they look being here, maybe that was for the better. The special stages in the Genesis version are piss easy though, they're not even fun in a brain-dead way, they just are. The ring quotas are overly generous, but the only thing potentially giving you shit is the increased speed and the occasional awkward bomb placement. You'll get the Chaos Emeralds in no time either way, and all 7 are required to access the final boss of the game. No Supersonic though, the emeralds are just for the good ending, it's kinda lame. The special stages in the Saturn version though, it's the best half pipe in the series. I'm still not down with the concept and it's been overused to hell and back, but if I had to choose one, it's these. The difficulty curve is perfect. Getting hit by a bomb is not an immediate death sentence. You can make mistakes in these and still comfortably reach the ring quota. Not to mention the stages reward good reflexes and reaction time with bonus rings that give you comfortable padding. The control's a little loose, but that's about my only gripe with them. It's because of these that the Saturn version is my preferred way of playing 3D Blast if I happen to be in the mood to play it, which isn't very often. This game is okay. There's nothing remarkably bad about it, but it does get a little samey and repetitive not too long in, given how the main objective is Sonic just rescuing birds the same way every single time. And when you're pixel hunting for these little shits, either because they got hit along the way or there's a robot you missed, there's a lot of wandering around. And unless you're playing the Saturn version, this game has no map, so best to get one from a guide online if you're just trying to complete the stage. Also, the fact that exiting a special stage leaves you with no rings could lead to bullshit like this. On the Genesis, background environments are fine, but I'm not a fan of how the checkerboard floors stick out with their singular, flat colors. The Saturn version does a better job making everything look concise with their themes, and it even has some added environmental effects like different weather for Rusty Ruins and some smog for Volcano Valley, little touch-ups that add much flavor to what's otherwise a perfectly playable game, but not my preferred Sonic experience. The load times also suck. I can't say this enough though, it has great music, and that goes for both versions. The Saturn version was the work of Richard Jacques, and my personal feelings about the dude aside, he can compose a great soundtrack. And the Saturn OST is damn good, Rusty Ruins and the special stage music being my favorite. For most of the Genesis score, we have Tatsuyuki Maeda to thank for creating some truly awesome beats. Good lord, Rusty Ruin, Volcano Valley, the first boss theme, well, that's a great one. Much care was placed in this soundtrack, and I'm grateful for that. This was also Jun Sano's first real major contribution to a Sonic game, and while I don't enjoy his tracks as much as Tatsuyuki's pieces, I feel that's only because they don't work on the Genesis. You might recognize Panic Puppet Act 1 and Green Grove Act 1 from Sonic Adventure, and in Adventure those arrangements sound great. On the Genesis, not so much, but I'm willing to give Jun some slack on that. Even if he is responsible for the Sonic 4 boss battle theme that was originally a prototype boss battle theme for 3D Blast that went unused, I repeat, it went unused. Before signing off on 3D Blast though, if you were to consider playing this, I would like to point you in the direction of the director's cut. This only applies to the Genesis version, but get this, it's a ROM hack made by the actual designer of the original game, John Burton. It fixes up the control a bit, makes Sonic a little faster, and collecting and holding on to flickies is less of a hassle. You only lose one bird at a time as opposed to all of them at once upon getting hit, and you even have this radar to help locate birds off screen should you lose sight of them. Supersonic is also available after collecting the Chaos Emeralds, who inherently has the homing attack too. I didn't play much of this for this video because fundamentally the game is still mostly the same and I already played it once on both the Genesis and Saturn, but how cool is it that this is even a thing? John Burton took time out of his schedule to make his creation a genuinely better experience just because, and that gets nothing but my respect. Good shit, Mr. Burton, that's passion right there. And this wasn't his only contribution to the Sonic franchise, because Traveler's Tales was also tasked with another Sonic game for the Saturn, since Sonic Xtreme at this point was... Look alive, it's Sonic R.
You can't be serious.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What?
Sonic R? Again?
Again? That video is like over 11 years old, my dude.
It's been 11 years.
Hit you like a truck, right?
What have I been doing with my life?
Honestly, I don't know. And I don't care. Yeah, this is the game that introduced the Tails doll. For one game, that's it. Then for a while it lived on through memes and creepypastas. Had a good run in the comics for a bit though. You remember when you transformed into a giant cock and balls with a vagina at the shaft? The fuck was that about?
Nah, I needed the money. By the way, I'm moving in for a bit. Times are hard.
Excuse me, what? No, no!
Don't worry, it's like I won't even be here. By the way, out of coffee creamer.
Out of coffee. Oh, fuck. Son of a bitch. Anyway, Sonic R, a racing game. Only has 5 tracks and you can play the whole thing in about 15-20 minutes. It was created in about 8 months. Oh yeah, Traveler's Tales did not have much time to make this, since again, SEGA wanted another Sonic game in time for a holiday release. 1997 in this case. Traveler's Tales took a Formula 1 concept they already had in the works and converted it into a Sonic game to help things along, with Sonic Team actually overlooking development for this one since they now had all the time in the world after Xtreme. Yeah, that. But because Sonic Team had more of a hand in this, Sonic R is actually pretty decent aesthetically in some respects. Course design is damn interesting. It pays a lot of respects to Sonic's core design in the classic games. If this wasn't a racing game and with a little more fine-tuning, I would have loved to explore these places with a more traditional control scheme. There's tons of alternate pathways containing things like power-ups and super shortcuts to help you reach first place. You can find these Sonic tokens scattered across the course. You collect them all, and you can race against a secret character, unlocking them if you manage to win. Chaos Emeralds are also obtainable hidden behind ring gates. Nab these and come in first place and you'll eventually unlock Super Sonic, the definition of unbalanced. Okay, the whole roster is unbalanced. Amy, Robotnik, and Egg Robo, they are all just pure shit. And the less I say about the Tails doll, the better.
I heard that.
Yeah, no, fucking say it again, you suck! The control can be utter shit. Every character is different, but you'll likely be choosing Knuckles as your starting character until you get the hang of things, or grow numb, whatever comes first. But most characters control like fucking tanks. You'll be using the Sharp Turn a whole bunch just to get a semblance of normal racing here. But again, this game does look fantastic for the Sega Saturn. Traveler's Tales is working some serious forbidden magic to get this game looking as good as it did on a console that was infamously difficult to do 3D graphics for, especially compared to the PlayStation and N64. I mean, the draw distance is total ass, but this is thankfully circumvented in the PC re-release, the version that's also available in the Gems collection on the GameCube. This version even has different weather conditions, allowing you to do things like walk on frozen water for extra shortcuts when it's snowing. My GameCube's on the verge of dying though, sad to say, so I modded my Wii U to play GameCube games for this video. Yes, I'm playing a PC port of a Saturn game for the GameCube on my Wii U.
What?
As for the music, it is some of the most ill-fitting, cheesy, cornball 90s combination of dance, pop, house, and new jack swing, once again composed by Richard Jocks with lyrics by TJ Davis, but I love it anyway. It shouldn't work, but it does, and has plenty of fans. Back in Time and Diamonds in the Sky are my favorite. You can keep your Sunshines and Supersonic Racings. Those are great songs too, but these are all I need. But like I said, this game is over in less than 20 minutes. Less than an hour if you're going for everything, I don't know, unless you're like looking for those balloons and nothing to show for it. And the unbalanced roster makes even multiplayer not very compelling. Sonic R is a game that I wish had another attempt though, because I fuck with the game conceptually. Sonic and friends racing against each other on foot through vast worlds filled with a bunch of pathways and power-ups? How has that not been attempted again after 1997? You know, not to put down the Rider series or All-Stars, but I don't know, I think Sonic R needs another shot. Shit, the next couple of games needed another shot now that I think about it. Wait, what's this? Sonic Jam on Game.com?
It's just Gamecom, you simpleton.
Then why the fuck is there a dot in the name?
Oh my lord, what is this?
I guess I can scratch that off the bucket list now. Honestly, I don't know what the hell I was expecting. Next up is Sonic the Fighters. Believe it or not, the first time Sonic ever went fully 3D. I thought that was the cameo in Christmas Nights for the longest time, but Sonic the Fighters beats that by about 5 months. The things you learn. This was a Japan-only title for arcades for a bit until it finally got an international console release in the Gems collection and the HD remaster on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 years later. Dr. Robotnik has created another Death Egg and threatens to conquer the world. But Sonic and Tails get the idea to meet Robotnik in his home base using this rocket that only seats one person, you fucking idiot. The rocket needs Chaos Emeralds to make the trip though, and since Sonic and friends aren't willing to give up their prized possessions so easily, it's a contest of strength to see who's worthy enough to ride the rocket and stop Robotnik's schemes. To start somewhere, I love the way this game looks and sounds. I could have gone without the ring sound every time you land a blow. Who the hell thought that was a good idea? But everything else, it's so kinetic and cartoony. Tails is having a time of his life with this combos, that's adorable. Attacks can really pack a wallop in general, like you actively wince at some of these things Sonic and Company can do to each other. Amy with her hammer never felt so deadly, and poor Robotnik at the end of the arcade campaign doesn't stand a chance with the fighter's constant barrage of utter nonsense. So because the makers of Fighting Vipers were in charge of this, I guess you can call Sonic the Fighters a glorified Fighting Vipers clone. I never played Fighting Vipers to know for sure, always looked like a hybrid of Virtua Fighter and Tekken to me, maybe I'll give it some love one day. But as far as fighting games go, from what I've experienced in my life anyway, this isn't what I would identify as mechanically rich. Every character has the same punches, the same bitch slaps, the same cha-cha kicks. It's simple as fuck and the balance is all over the place. Some characters are just flat out better than others because of their special moves. Like, why would I pick Honey with her slow ass attacks or characters like Fang when Sonic can deflect their projectiles with the spin dash? Damage values are also wacky as shit. Sometimes attacks can do as much as a third, up to a half of a fucking health bar for no goddamn reason. Is it a comeback mechanic? Is there a payback mechanic to this game? I'd like to think it's that, I would hope so. On default settings, you also have a limited number of blocks. Once your barrier runs out, you can't defend for the rest of the match. That's a bit extreme, I would say. Matches are over in less than a minute though, so it's not as if you have much time to let that soak in. Again, this is a game I really like conceptually. Sonic and friends just beating the shit out of each other. With a little more time and consideration for balance, this could easily be a great fighter. As is, it's merely decent. Still something I consider you pick up, it could be fun for a short burst. My friends and I had a fun time wrecking shit for a bit. It's not very immersive, but it's good junk food. I so desperately wanted to say the same thing for Sonic Battle on the Game Boy Advance. Oh boy, I never played this game into this video, but it was something I was aware of since its original release way back in 2003. Firstly, I love the art style of the characters. The thick, jagged lines, it's striking and gives the game a unique look. The in-game graphics are no slouch either, it's Sonic Advance caliber stuff, but everyone's got all these new fancy animations for different attacks, and we also got some newcomers like Shadow and Rouge getting in on the action as well. Legit, Sonic Battle is a great looking game, but it is marred by being on the Game Boy Advance. If you want multiplayer on this fighting game, you need multiple Game Boys and multiple copies of the game, which is a little harder to swallow compared to other fighters around this time that were on consoles with dedicated local co-op. I'm telling you now, the only reason folks were buying link cables for the GBA was for Pokemon, not for fucking Sonic Battle. I don't know, maybe there was some overlap, but I didn't know anyone who had this fucking game. So without reliable multiplayer, all you had left was single player, and it is some of the most repetitive shit I ever experienced in Sonic. There is a story mode to Sonic Battle, but full transparency, I stopped when I got to the end of Knuckles. My patience just ran the fuck out. Dr. Eggman has discovered a journal belonging to his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. The contents inside describes an ancient being known as a Gizoid that has the potential to become all-powerful. Eggman, of course, later discovers this robot, but can't get it to work properly, so he just tosses the thing out. Sonic eventually stumbles upon it and, together with Tails, gets it working again and gives it the name Emerald after realizing it can absorb Chaos Emeralds to become more sentient and more capable as a fighter. The rest of Sonic Battle involves Emerald growing not only physically, but emotionally, learning new things from his new friends until it suddenly gets too powerful and has to get the old yellow treatment by endgame. This eventually leads into Sonic Advance 3 with Eggman creating Gemerald and trying that whole thing again. Yeah, that's in reference to this game. And this also has some significance in Sonic Chronicles, but it doesn't really mean fuck all. The writing of the story isn't terrible. Shit, if you love the characterization of the adventure games and heroes, you're gonna love the dialogue here. It's basically a continuation of those game stories. It's mostly harmless shit, very slice of life. But it does have some sour points. Amy sucks in this game. I don't like what they did to her here. What? She's overly concerned with her figure and weight loss so that she can win Sonic's heart. She's fucking 12 years old, guys. She takes the relationship thing way too far, mistakenly thinking Emerald is Sonic's way of telling Amy he wants a child, and she's gaga over the idea. There's even a point where she becomes so exhausted from battling, she hallucinates Sonic helping her, and you fucking fight the hallucination. That's in some part funny, but also disturbing. Where did that sense of independency go from adventure? Amy's entire arc in this is, ha ha, bitches be crazy. Emerald is the central focus, and a big part of the story and gameplay is making him a more competent fighter. He is capable of learning techniques from Sonic and friends, and after every battle you earn skill points so that you can eventually equip Emerald with better techniques, something you frantically want to do as early as possible because Emerald by default sucks diddly donkey dick. That is in part the point of the character, but he is far too weak for far too damn long. You earn skill points at a pitifully limited amount. Seriously, sometimes you get 5 points, other times you get 10, but every other time you get 1. And you need a shitload of these things to even equip the most basic punches and movement. The story, sometimes without warning, will force you to use Emerald, and folks, They didn't know when to fucking stop. This story's idea of content is having you fight characters for 5 rounds, then you fight the character again immediately after for 10 rounds. It's fucking 15. This happens so much that by the end of Knuckles' story, I stopped. No, this isn't fun. I'm not having fun with this and I refuse to continue. Which is a damn shame to say because mechanically this game has so much potential. I think they could have done without the 3D arenas. Combat can feel a little imprecise because of it. Hitboxes do be jank at times, and you're moving in a 3D space with the D-pad, not big on that. I would have preferred a traditional 2D plane, but the way the characters have different types of special techniques depending if you use them on the ground, in midair, or a defensive tactic, how you're given the option to switch things up after every round is pretty cool. When I'm in control of Sonic or the others, it's fun seeing how they work in action, and the fact that Emerald could eventually learn all these moves for himself is a legitimately interesting selling point. But story mode is just a bunch of the same shit over and over again, and sometimes things just get plain unfair with how much certain enemies can damage you or dogpile you, and there's no difficulty to like, it's sink or swim. So what I found myself doing was exploiting the AI whenever I could, using the same axe kick with Rouge because nobody can block an overhead worth of damn in this game, charging up my meter and using a special because it's now a one-hit kill, that's a fucking thing in this game, and then charging up the meter again and using a different one-hit kill because the AI won't block it for some reason. But even with these exploits, it's just too fucking repetitive, man. Fight for 5 rounds. Alright, now do it again for 10. Do this battle without getting hit. Enjoy this 3-on-1. Enjoy this 3-on-1. Did someone say more of the same goddamn robots? It's Emerald time, baby. You like the feeling of a 5-ton weight strapped to your ankles? Well, here's more of that. Hey, there goes all your health. God, no thank you. Sonic Battle needed another attempt because I would love another fighter like this with the potential this battle system has, but fuck this game as is. I can't jive with it. No sir, pass. Alright, this is a rare Johnny from the future moment making a very quick edit here, otherwise the comment section is going to be littered with the exact same fucking comment, but holy shit, Sonic Showdown, the fan game. I only learned of this after exporting the first draft of this video, but this is exactly what I wanted Sonic Battle to be. I'm just making a note that yes, I do know about it now, and yes, I might just make a video on it later, but I haven't played it yet, so I'm going to go do that later today. Now back to our regularly scheduled Sonic programming. Which leaves us for our last game of today, the 2000 Sonic Shuffle for the SEGA Dreamcast.
Start!
Jesus Christ. Because of the success of Mario Party, SEGA wanted their own Mario Party. They even contracted Hudson Soft, the creators of Mario Party, to help make this. Sonic Shuffle isn't Mario Party. Maybe Hudson Soft just didn't give a shit, or maybe they were underpaid, but what we have here is a boring, empty, and frankly slow Sonic Party game. The goal of the game is to get as many precious stones as you can. There's no set number of turns either, the game ends when all the stones are collected, but sometimes the stones don't mean shit because my buddy Ryan ended up winning both boards collecting only 1 stone and making up for it with the bonuses at the end game tally, so what's the goddamn point of the stones? Boards are plastered with different spaces doing all kinds of things, from environmental changes, ring bonuses, ring penalties, special spaces which only certain characters can use for shortcuts, and occasionally a minigame. Oh yes, minigames only happen when you land on a minigame spot, because God forbid this party game has you doing things together as a group repeatedly. Sometimes it's not even a minigame, it's a mini event where you watch one player do these interactive cutscenes where you could potentially win rings or just waste everyone's time when your character decides to do nothing. I'm serious, that can fucking happen. You just leave. It's all fucking luck based. Instead of rolling a dice block, you use these cards to move a certain number of spaces. If you want, you can even use your opponent's cards instead of yours to save resources for upcoming battles, but you can't see what they have, so you might accidentally screw yourself if you choose their Eggman card, who penalizes players with different effects. You collect precious stones by defeating the Guardian utilizing the same cards used for movement. Get a higher number and you win the stone. You lose and you waste a turn as well as everyone else's time. But the mini-games, the one we managed to get anyway, and there were repeats, they're nothing special. Rudimentary stuff like a game of tag, heavily luck-based stuff like getting Eggman out of his jail cell that, wait, what are we doing here? He's already in the cell. Mission accomplished, just go home, guys. Some games are just blatantly unfair to others. The 1 versus 3 stuff are just too easy to win for the single player. Also, what the hell is happening here? Eggman makes the character huge and everyone's suddenly like, oh fuck, that's it, I'm sorry Tails, we have to kill you now with these guns we found. But shit, that ain't happening. The giant has way too much health and they kill the others in 1 hit, so how's that for balance? There is a story attached to this game, but look, I only had these guys for a couple of hours to record this game, and even that was getting to be too much. And I'll be damned if I played this game by myself, because I already did plenty of that when I first got this nearly 20 years ago. And let me tell you, there's only so many goddamn loading screens one can take before you want to play something else, on top of the AI having perfect play regardless of the difficulty. I don't play party games for the story, I play them to party with my friends. You can easily watch the jank-ass cutscenes on YouTube anyway. Oh, why does Sonic have a vagina mouth?
Well, I've got nothing better to do.
The CGI intro is pretty good to look at least. I don't know what the fuck to make of this music though.
C'est pas vrai.
What the fuck was that? Was that Sam Kinison?
C'est pas vrai.
Sonic Shuffle should have been easy money, just make Mario Party but with Sonic characters. I think that's what everyone was expecting, but instead we have a sort of Mario Party that does things differently but not in a good kind of way. We had more fun ribbing the damn thing, how dreadfully dull the game was. The boards weren't interesting, things were happening that were unclear. Accident? Someone pissed their pants? What's going on? We deliberately stalled the game just to land on more minigame spots for the sake of making the game more interesting, and we also let a small child drown. We just stopped caring about the Precious Stone. You know, it's sad when my friends and I got more enjoyment watching Sonic sitting all by his lonesome in the dark in 1 in the morning, while his friends occasionally stopped by and taunted him. Another game that needed another attempt. Like, it's maddening at times because there are glimmers of great ideas here, but the execution is off one time, and then they fuck off and do something else completely different. They take no effort to, refine the previous game to make a truly great follow-up. I mean, come on, you'd buy a great Sonic Party game, yeah? You'd buy a great Sonic Fighter with proper balance and mechanics, a Sonic Racer on foot with expansive tracks. Those are all sound ideas, but until they properly go back and refine them, all we have is a bunch of these painfully mediocre attempts. And that's the fucked up thing. Most of these aren't even bad, they're just mediocre. If it felt like I was skimming on things, it's because I was bored. And as I get older, you start learning how to value your time. And speaking of valuing my time, at least eventually, I think I know just the franchise to look at next. Before I head off though, recently this channel just broke 400,000 subscribers. And that's incredible. Thank you. If you didn't know, I sort of made a promise that if one day I should break 500,000 subs, I'd look at the Persona series. Yeah, I kept that strictly on Twitter for the time. You can follow me here at Somecallmejohnny. But now with that actually being a possibility, I will make it official here on YouTube. I will make it known here and now. If this channel breaks 500,000 subs, I will dedicate a marathon to the Persona series. Yeah, I'm willing to step way out of my comfort zone. Way out of my comfort zone to spend some time talking about those games. I do get a lot of requests for the Persona series, the SMT series in general, and I don't know, but that's kind of the things you have to take with content creation, so have at it. I don't know when it's going to happen, so I want to say I have more than enough time to get the rest of the Final Fantasy series done for that marathon, but that's for later. But right now, we're heading back into the Metroid series proper because we got Dread coming out soon. I think about a month from now when this video goes up. And so I will see you guys next time with the beginning of I'm stumbling over words because I'm doing all this in one take and the script can only help me so much. I'll see you guys next time with the beginning of like this mini Metroid marathon. With all that said, thank you all for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask if you decide to go outside, get vaccinated if possible. Have yourselves a fantastic night. And take care.